So, und wir sind wieder live zurück und warten auf neue spannende Entwicklungen aus Bologna beim Aviation Event. So we are back here now and waiting for new informations, live informations from Bologna. There is the Aviation Event 2021 and Mr. Kurt Hoffmann is there. We are waiting for our talk guest now. It's a very important talk guest now is coming to Mr. Hoffmann. So in the meanwhile, we want to show you some nice pictures from Bologna, the destination where the event is started today. So let us see some pictures and then we want to see what's happened with our talk guest and Mr. Hoffmann. Ja, wunderschöne Bilder aus Bologna und ich sehe jetzt gerade unser Talkgast beziehungsweise der Talkgast von Kurt Hoffmann ist eingetroffen und wir schalten jetzt live nach Bologna und ja, ich freue mich ganz besonders, wenn ich jetzt die Szene übergeben darf. So, it's your stage, Mr. Hoffmann, and your interview and yeah, we are happy to see you back.
Yes, hello again. Good afternoon from beautiful Bologna. Once again, welcome live from our aviation event newsroom today here in Italy. I have a big pleasure to welcome Eddie Wilson, the CEO of Ryanair, one of the major carriers in Europe. Eddie, thanks a lot for your time. We know you all guys are very busy, but it's an important conference to talk about aviation. Before we talk a little bit more about Ryanair itself, how you come out of the pandemic, how important is Italy? How many aircraft you have based here to give our viewers at home a bit of an idea how important is this market for you?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to fly in a normal year approximately 40 million passengers here. Just in and out and within Italy. We currently have 81 aircraft based here. We fly to 29 airports, about 16 bases. We just opened new bases in Treviso and also in Turin, and there's a couple of more airports to go. But it's an important market, and we reacted during the crisis by increasing our domestic share for Italians while they were locked down. So delighted to be here in Bologna.
Good to see you here. The whole aviation scenery will need, we think, about the next 2-3 years for recovery. So also Ryanair had to have a hard financial impact actually. So how is your way out of the pandemic, and how will Ryanair look after this? You're much more agile. Flexibility is always one of your main topics, but how will Ryanair be in the future?
I mean, personally, when this happened in 2020, we never left the office. We were planning for the recovery from day one, back in last March. And we kept our crews flying, we kept our aircraft current. There was a huge engineering project to do that. That meant when vaccination came along, we were able to recover much more quickly than our competitors. So we've gradually built our traffic throughout the summer season, and if you take Italy, for example, our capacity has fully recovered for August. Now, we still are not up at the load factors of 95-96%, but network-wise in July we were at 80%. So it's important, like we have fully recovered in this city, in Bologna, in terms of capacity. We have to sell more seats. We're driving that with lower fares. But broadly speaking, for Italy going through for the winter season, we're going to have capacity of 135% of what we had in winter 19, not winter 20, but winter 19. So it's a solid recovery, but it'll be driven by much lower fares to drive load factors.
Well, it sounds like a solid recovery, but we all know after a good summer, especially for the European airlines, the winter is challenging.
Yeah.
So your target is quite ambitious. Coming winter.
It is very ambitious, but I think we're going to capitalize on our competitors being slow to come back. And we're going to do that through pricing as well. And we will be, I think, resetting pricing in the European short-haul market. Some of our friends in the legacy carriers are in particular difficulty on feed into their hubs. And it's going to be a very challenging environment for the winter. I think next summer people are hoping, I mean, there could be a curveball on vaccinations during the winter, but all the indications are that that's not going to happen. So a solid recovery we're planning for.
You told us that the big carriers like Air France, Lufthansa, all the legacy carriers will probably have around 20% less capacity next year.
Well, not necessarily them. I think short-haul capacity in Europe could be anywhere in the order of 15 to 20% lower in terms of intra-European seats.
Why?
Well, Norwegian is a fraction of the size it is. It has gone down by 85%. EasyJet is getting smaller. The legacy carriers are cutting back on capacity as well. And I think there's going to be less capacity, and we're going to hopefully exploit that in the months ahead.
So you think this is the right momentum for Ryanair to jump in and to generate more market share?
I have been in Ryanair for 25 years. We only know one trick, and that is cost and drive it through lower fares. And that's what we're going to do in this crisis as well.
But what's about the political pressure? You know, there are many governments say the short-haul flights should be stopped, should be reduced. So how you react on that?
The governments aren't saying that. What they're saying are the failed legacy carriers are lobbying for that. So you have that with Austrian. I mean, the idea that you would restrict choice and have minimum pricing, like the European Union is based on competition and the principles of competition. And we're not in the business in this continent of setting minimum pricing to protect failed businesses. That happens elsewhere in the world. It doesn't happen in Europe.
So one important point for Ryanair is always to keep your costs low and high flexibility, but your airline is getting bigger and bigger. What's the challenge is to manage this kind of cost advantage?
Well, you've got to look for something all the time, and the game changer, as we say, is going to be the 737-8200 MAX, because it's got more seats, it's the same amount of crew, it burns less fuel, 16%, and it's got 40% less noise emissions. And that's going to be really important for airports as well, who want those aircraft. So that's going to transform our cost base as we go forward. We have, so you've got to lock away the cost that you can control. Your aircraft, your people costs, and we've had real engagement from our people and their unions during this crisis, where we will restore their pay over the next 4 years, and they were very mature about how they did that. Our airport costs are going to fall as well. Airports are going to have to get their act together in terms of charging.
Eddie, you agree that we have too many airlines in Europe?
I think consolidation has been put on hold to some extent because of the legacy carriers now getting bailed out with state aid, with eye-watering amounts of money from their government. I think European taxpayers are going to tire of this, but the European Commission is going to have to do something about freeing up slots. You cannot hold back that in a competitive market and hold back on the basis that you're going to use them at some other stage. It's rigging the market. It is wrong.
It is wrong. What will be the biggest challenge for Ryanair the rest of the year and the next year?
I think we've got to get through this winter and hope that there is no curveball, as I say, on the efficacy of vaccines and that, so that people will still want to travel. I think that the Green Pass that has been put through by the European Union has been a huge success, because it's just an extra piece of documentation that I have on my phone, and I think people have now got used to that. It's that people just keep saying it's the new normal, and I think that for next summer, all those people that otherwise would have gone long haul, because that's not going to be recovered anytime soon, will hopefully holiday next year on Ryanair flights next summer.
We will follow Ryanair very closely.
Thank you.
Eddie Wilson, CEO of Ryanair, thank you very much for your time here in Bologna.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are coming back soon with one of our next guests.
Ja, vielen Dank an Kurt Hoffmann aus Bologna, und wir freuen uns schon auf die nächsten Gäste gleich wieder dann hier live bei uns und im Studio. Und ich glaube, einige interessante Informationen jetzt vom CEO von Ryanair. Vielen Dank, Kurt Hoffmann und seinen Talkgästen.